Two-step equations. So yesterday we looked at solving two-step equations, and I told you that we were going to come back and look at division in two-step equations. So we just want to go back through some notes. Solving a two-step equation is just like solving a one-step equation with more steps. Duh. The goal is the same. Our goal is to isolate and solve for the variable. To solve a two-step equation, we first undo. We always want to undo addition or subtraction, and undo is just another word for inverse. So we want to do the inverse of addition or subtraction, and then we want to undo any multiplication or division. Remember, what you do to one side, what do? What you do to one side, you do to the other side. Okay, so we want to keep it balanced. Whatever you do to one side, you want to do it to the other side. So let's jump right in and look at some examples of division problems that may not look as friendly or nice, but I promise you are not that hard. So I'm going to model at least 3 different ones. So here is one that looks a little daunting and is a negative 2/3 x plus 6 equals 1. So again, the first thing we do, split that thing into 2 sides. Remember, we're only concerned about the side that has the x on it. We're not concerned about the side with a -1. -1 will never move. It's going to stand its ground on that side. Same, we always want to get rid of the thing that's easiest to get rid of. So right now, that negative 2/3 x is looking a little complicated. It doesn't look like something I want to mess with right now. I'm not ready for that fight. So we're going to go right in and we're going to solve the the plus 6 by subtracting 6. So we're subtracting 6 from both sides. These 6's will cancel out. I'm going to bring down my negative 2/3 x. I'm going to bring down my equal sign. -1 and a -6 will become a -7. Okay? So again, now I'm left with this one-step equation where I have clearly division on both sides. I clearly have division with the negative 2/3 because that's a fraction. To get rid of division, I have to undo it or do the inverse, which is multiplication. So when I multiply, I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. And remember, I'm going to bring this negative with me. So I'm going to multiply both sides by a -3/2. Okay, don't leave that negative sign there. Sorry. Don't leave that negative sign. You're going to bring it with you. So -3/2. So on this side, these will cancel out. Well, they will become 1, a +1. So I bring down my x, bring down my equal sign. On this side, I can add this over 1. A 7 and 3 will become 21, and 1 and 2 will become 2, and a negative will become positive. So this will become 21 halves, which if you wanted to make that a mixed number, 2 would go 10 and a half. So the final answer, x would be 10 and a half is the value of x. And just like we did the other day, we could plug that in and solve, but I figure you guys probably don't want to mess with those fractions. If I was going to plug it in, I would leave it as 21 halves to make it a little bit easier. Then that would definitely cancel out. 21 halves times 2/3, the 2's will cancel out, and you would be left with 21/3, which will give me a -7, plus 6, which will give me a -1. So definitely works. Let's jump into another one. I have another paper. This one has a more familiar looking view that you'll see more often here, where we have x over 5 plus 7. I want to make sure you guys remember the things and skills that you've been taught. First, we're going to divide this into two sides because we want to remember to keep our two sides balanced at all times. We want to get rid of the easiest thing to get rid of, and that easiest thing to get rid of right now is the positive 7. So I'm going to do the opposite and subtract 7 from both sides. Here, they will cancel out. You're going to be left with x over 5 is equal to 11 minus 7, which should give me a positive 6. So here I have x over 5. I want to separate that into a fraction and a variable like we've done so many times in the past. So I'm going to just rewrite it down here to be 1/5 x equals 6. That's the way I want to see it. 1/5 x equals 6. So now I see my fraction. I know this is division, so the opposite of division is multiplication. So on both sides, I'm going to multiply them by 5 over 1. So if I multiply this side, it's going to give me 1x. And if I multiply this side, I'm going to get 30 over 1, which is the same as just 30. Okay? And I'm going to take this one, and this time I'm going to check it because it's a little less messy than the last one. Anytime you see the value of x, you're going to put 30 in its place. So if I put 30 over 5 plus 7 equals 11, hopefully you know that 30 divided by 5 is 6, and then 6 plus 7 is going to give you 11. So see how that checked out? It looks scary, but at the end of the day, it really isn't scary. And this is your time to shine. This is the time to step up to the plate and show what you really can do if you're good with math and numbers. Algebra is my favorite thing. I have an algebraically thinking mind. When I solve a problem, that's the first thing I go to is algebra. I'm always trying to make something into a variable, into some unknown. So show me what you can do. Okay, so this one looks scary. I know it looks scary, but it's not. It's not scary at all. So let's go ahead and split this up first. So this is a plus 2 over 2, or a plus 2 divided by 2. Well, I can't combine a plus 2 because I don't know the value of a. But what I can do is I can make these into two separate fractions. So I can make this into a over 2 plus 2 over 2 is equal to negative 1. So I can take the denominator and split those numerators up, okay? So that's one thing that you are learning. Then you can, of course, split your sides. Then I can simplify this. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to break up this a and n over 2 to be 1/2 a. And then I know that 2 plus 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So this is just 1. So look at that. So we've taken something that looked, oh my God, I can't do this, and made it so easy and simple. So it's very friendly now, right? Because we can solve it like we've always solved it. What's the first thing I want to get rid of? The positive 1 by subtracting 1 from both sides. Okay, this will become 0. I'm left with 1/2 a is equal to negative 2. We want to do the opposite of division, which is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 1/2, which is 2 over 1. Okay, and then I'm going to be left with a here, and a negative and a positive is a negative, and 2 times 2 is 4. So a equals negative 4. Look how scary that looked, and yet how simple it turned out. Just use all the skills that I've taught you. Everything that you've been taught, just use them to simplify things, to make them easier and simpler looking in life. So if you would like to go and check this, we can definitely check it to just make sure our answer is right. So let's do that. So we're going to substitute in wherever we had a, we're going to substitute in negative 4. So here I would have negative 4 plus 2 over 2 is equal to negative 1. So a negative 2 and a negative 4 will give me a negative 2. So I have a negative 2 over 2 is equal to negative 1. And then I could just divide. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and then a negative and a positive is a negative 1. Look at that. So easy, so fun. Well, I hope this helped you overcome your fear of dividing, of two-step problems with division in them. So let's go practice, and good luck.